Everybody, joining from all points Western Wales. Good morning to you all.
Morning.
Morning. Lots of waves. Thank you very much.
Morning.
Morning. It's a momentous day for Miles Morgan today. I've just about made the Zoom in the nick of time from having my COVID jab. So I'm jabbed. So
Well done.
I'm delighted. I have to say I'm absolutely delighted. It's a big psychological moment.
See it, we can't see that.
Yeah, sure. I can see it.
I'll do my normal housekeeping notes. So if you could just tap your screen and press the microphone button so you get a red line through it, that will be a massive help to John when he's doing his presentation in a moment. So do that.
Tap the screen, you get a red line through it.
I will do my normal one, which is please give him a hard time at the end by asking him lots and lots of tricky questions, because it's the whole point of the session is to get what you want out of it. So, if John hasn't asked the question that you want knowing, or if it sparks something that makes you think, then please ask away, because he does know his hammer, does John, I have to say. So this morning we're joined by John Knight. John and I go back too many years than either of us care to mention. Him and I used to work together back in the day, quite a lot of days ago. John obviously has gone on to bigger and better things, and is now working at, I have to say, very well recognised and very well respected business in the river cruise industry. And I think you will find it interesting what John has to say about AMA and what the AMA difference is. So before further ado, I will pass you over to John, but please remember, tap away and ask the questions in the chat, and I will pick them up with John at the end of the session. So John, over to you.
Fantastic, and thank you, Miles. And I'd just like to firstly say a massive appreciation to you and the team at Miles Morgan for inviting us along today, because, I don't get the chance to talk about AmaWaterways that much being stuck at home. So I really enjoy doing these, because it takes me down the rivers as well. So we'll do that together this morning. So as Miles said, my name's John Knight. I look after AmaWaterways. I'm the national sales manager here in the UK. And what we're going to do this morning is, first and foremost, tell you a bit more about AmaWaterways as a company, who we are. We're going to give you a bit of a virtual tour of one of the ships, so you can see what the public areas look like. And we're also going to take you down two of my favourite rivers, which are definitely the Rhine and the Danube. So we've got some great images there for you to show you what you can experience on those two particular rivers. We'll tell you a bit more about the other European destinations we go to as well. And there's a little secret at the end, so pay attention right at the end. We've got a new product which we're really excited about. So I've got just a couple of little slides on that at the end, so you can see our wonderful new ship called the Amadalia. I'll tell you a bit more about that later on. As Miles said, just please tap away. Any questions you've got, we'll cover those at the end when we go through the chat box. Hopefully I'll cover enough stuff during the presentation, but if you have got any other questions, then please do feel to ask me, and I'll be only too happy to go through those at the end. So first and foremost, obviously it's been an incredibly difficult time. We're all very frustrated to not being able to travel the last year. However, one positive bit of news is with river cruising, it is deemed a very safe way to travel. There have been a lot of restrictions over in 2020. There hasn't been a lot of holidays taking place, but river cruising was one of the things that could actually take place last year. And we were lucky enough to have two of our ships sailing on the River Rhine from July through to November. So what it did mean, it meant that we could put together all these different protocols in place, just in case we need to adopt those in the future. So rest assured, when you do go on a river cruise experience, you will be looked after. The health and safety protocols are all there. They're all tried and tested. The Foreign Office advice is river cruising is fine. The frustrating thing for us is we just can't get you to the ships. That's the problem. But the actual cruise is no problem at all. The ships we used last year on the River Rhine, they were actually chartered to a German tour operator, which is why we were able to run them. And we're doing the same from May onwards this year as well. They're going to be chartered to a tour operator again. So that's a great first bit of news. Second bit of news, again, if you're a little bit unsure about whether to make a booking in the future, because obviously it's very uncertain times we're living in at the moment. Like most tour operators, I'm sure I can vouch for my colleagues in the industry as well, we are giving you a huge amount of flexibility. So if you do choose to make a reservation, be it for 21, 22, if you decide you change your mind up to 2 days before you go, then we will change your reservation with no charge for you. Obviously, if we have to do any cancelling, any suspending, then you're free to receive a refund, or we can give you a future cruise credit. But in the event of you wanting to change, then you've got that flexibility to be able to do so up to 2 days before you're actually sailing. So that's something just to let you know about right now. So AmaWaterways, who are we? River cruising is huge now. There's lots of river cruising operators out there, and you've probably seen the adverts from Viking and Riviera, and I'm sure many of you have watched those wonderful Jane McDonald programs on the TV as she's been sailing down those rivers of Europe and further afield as well. That's if you like Jane McDonald. But we are actually a family-owned business. We've been around since 2002. Our owner is a gentleman called Rudy Schreider. You can actually see him in the picture there. He's a gentleman with the glasses. Now, we call him the godfather of river cruising. He was the first man to actually establish river cruising in Europe. He chartered the first river cruise ship, and then he took river cruising over to the States. He basically set up a lot of the companies today, people like Viking and Uniworld. He set them up in America. And then in 2002, he decided to launch his own operation with his wife, Christine, who you can also see there in the picture. And alongside that, we have a third co-owner called Gary Murphy, who is there too. So we're very much a family-owned business, a bit like Miles Morgan Travel in that respect, family-owned and operated since 2002. We only do river cruising. It's all we do. We're very much a river cruise specialist. We have now a fleet of 25 ships sailing across Europe, Asia, Africa, and Egypt. Spoil my secret at the end now. I've mentioned Egypt. That's a new ship, the Amadalia, but I'll tell you about that later on. But from the early days when we just had one ship in 2002 to 25 ships now, we have grown considerably. We are a 5-star river cruise line. We're very much a luxury river cruise specialist. One important factor, though, to mention is that we are also a completely debt-free business. All the ships are operated, owned fully by AmaWaterways and all paid for. So that's a bit of reassurance as well with the time we're living in. One other thing to mention about our ships, they are highly rated and highly regarded within the industry. Thank you, Miles, for the introduction earlier. You may have heard of Belitz. I don't know if you've all heard of Belitz. They do guidebooks around the cities of Europe. You've got Belitz guidebooks on ocean cruise ships. They actually have guidebooks on river cruise ships as well. Now, believe it or not, there are 320 river ships generally operating in Europe. We're really proud to have the highest 3 rated ships in the Belitz guide. So the top ship is Ama Christina, which you can see here. We've got the Ama Viola number 2. We've got Ama Stella number 3. We also occupy 6 of the top 10 positions, and we occupy 11 of the top 15. The only other company in the top 15 is actually a company called Crystal, who've got very nice ships as well, to be fair. So if you're not maybe heard of AmaWaterways before, hopefully that'll give you a bit of reassurance about the quality of the products that we have. Now, Belitz rates you on 5 things. They rate you on the service. They rate you on the quality of the cuisine. They rate you on the accommodation. They rate you on the excursion program that you operate, and they rate you on the hardware, the ships themselves. And all those 5 categories, we are, outscoring our competitors in the industry. And hopefully you'll see why when we go through the slides, because they are beautiful, beautiful vessels. They really, really are. And we go to some stunning locations. Another point to mention about river cruising, if you've maybe not done a river cruise before and you're interested in doing one for the first time, it's not like an ocean ship where you have 3,000-4,000 people. You have around 100, 150 people on board. Much smaller as far as the guest numbers, but you've still got a lot of space on board the ship. So a typical river ship we have is around 135 meters long, but only taking about 140, 150 guests. So there's lots and lots of space out on that sun deck. There's lots of space in those public areas and incredibly spacious staterooms as well. So when I show you some pictures later on, hopefully that will come true for you. You'll see for yourself how spacious the ships really, really are. And it really all starts with the crew. I mean, the crew are fabulous. They're amazing ambassadors to what we do at AmaWaterways. They've always got big smiling faces on. They're always there to greet you. They're always visible, making sure that you're having the most memorable river cruise experience that you've ever had before. Literally from the day one, they're there. They greet you on arrival. You get a kind of captain's gala cocktail party on the first day, and you'll get to meet all the fellow guests, but you'll also get to meet your crew members as well. So that'll be the housekeeping staff, that'll be the bartenders, the restaurant staff. They'll all be doing a kind of a circular walk around the lounge, and you'll applaud them, and it's a great start to your cruise experience. You also meet the first officers, the captain, and the hotel director and the cruise manager as well. Inside the ship, we do feel our ships would be, I mean, they're 5-star. They're really comfortable for everybody. We feel that everybody would be really comfortable on board. They're done in an incredibly tasteful way. They're very contemporary. They're very stylish. This is a lobby area on the Prima, actually, one of our ships. Beautiful marble, as you can see there. Lots of light, lots of space. The other thing with our ships as well, we're very relaxed as far as ambiance on board is concerned. So we don't necessarily have any formal nights. So it's all very relaxed dress code on board. We have the captain's gala night around the second to last evening of the cruise, which is maybe a bit more dressy. If you want to dress up, you can do so. But apart from that, it's a very relaxed feeling on board. We want this to be your home from home. This is your home for the week, and we want you to treat it like your home for the week. And that's what we're all about at AmaWaterways. This one here, this is the lounge area on the Ama Christina. Beautiful, beautiful lounges on the ships. They are really the hub of the ship on the river cruise. This is where all the action happens, if you like. So right at the front, you've got the observation lounge. So you can sit there, enjoy a book, watch those amazing viewpoints as you're sailing down those rivers. The rest of the lounge is where we have the entertainment in the evening. It's a place to relax. We'll have afternoon teas in here. We have piano music. We have anything from ABBA tribute nights right through to rock and roll to classical concerts. So there's always something going on in the evenings on board our ships. We've also got the bar in the lounge as well. And this is where we host what we call our sip and sail cocktail parties. So every single day on one of our ships, there will be complimentary cocktails and drinks from 6 to 7 in the main lounge with canopies. We feel it's a very nice kind of pre-dinner ambiance, and that's included in your fare. So you'll get that every single day when you're cruising with us. We've also got other facilities on the ship. So this is here, the library, for instance, on board. We've got gift shops on board. The least used room on the ship is the gym. Nobody ever uses the gym, but we do have one if you want to use it, the fitness room. If you prefer the massage, we have the massage treatments as well. So we have the spa facility available on all our vessels. And then it comes out onto the deck. I mean, one of my favorite places. I mean, this is really what river cruising is all about. You know, you're sailing down these incredibly beautiful rivers of Europe, and I've got some images of the Rhine and the Danube later on. But whichever river you do in Europe, stunning scenery you're going to experience is breathtaking. And when we're doing cruising in incredibly scenic parts, it's always daytime cruising. You're always going to see this beautiful scenery as you're passing by. And a great place to be is a swimming pool. So our ships have got pools. There's actually 4 that don't. They have hot tubs instead, but the other ships have got swimming pools. And you can probably see at the end there, you've got a very nice feature. It's a swim up bar. So whilst you're soaking up that incredible scenery, you can enjoy a drink and take it all in. So, and that's in our swimming pool. I'm not going to lie to you, they're not Olympic size. You don't have to make too much effort to get to the bar at the end. That's the good news. And you can probably see there's some stools there as well. So you can have a sit down and enjoy a drink too at the end on the swim up bar. But the deck space we've got, as I mentioned before, 135 meters long, these ships. So there's plenty of sun lounges. There's shaded areas if you want to keep out of the sun. There's sitting areas as well. There's a little golf putting green on some of the ships. You've also got giant chessboards. I'm not sure why, but we have got giant chessboards. And there's walking tracks as well. So if you want to kind of do a few laps in the morning just to keep active, then you can do that as well. Because you're going to have to keep active on the cruise, because river cruising, very much like ocean cruising, food is very much a big part of what we do. And we're certainly going to treat you some incredible cuisine whilst you're on board. Now, we're partners at AmaWaterways of the Chandon Otiseur. It's a French dining association. You can only be a member by invitation only, so your food has to be of a particular standard before they even consider you for membership. We do source the food locally, so it's very much a sustainable message as far as the dining is concerned. So the food is sourced from local farms, local producers. The wines that we accompany the meals with, they're always from local vineyards. So it just makes it a little bit more authentic to the regions that we're cruising to. And we did give you a lot of choice as well on our ship. So there's at least 2 restaurants on board on an AmaWaterways vessel. The main dining room, which you can see here. This is in the evening, it'll be an open dining situation, so you can sit where you want. Most of our guests will dine around 7 o'clock in the evening, but as long as you're sat down by 8:30, it's absolutely fine. It's very, very flexible. And in the evening, it's very much a 5-course a la carte menu that you're going to experience. Incredible food, lots and lots of choices as well. You know, river cruising in the old days, you used to kind of a bit like the day before, you used to have to get a menu card and you had to tick the box of what you wanted the next day and pass it to the maitre d'. It's not like that anymore. It's very much a la carte dinner. You've got a choice of different courses, different menus each course, 3 or 4 starters, 3 or 4 main courses. So very much like if you're going on an ocean cruise, lots and lots of choice. And as I said before, it's all locally sustainable as well. And now one thing which is definitely apparent in a post-COVID world, we used to do buffets for breakfast and lunch, but we're not going to be doing that anymore. The buffets are gone. So it's kind of a way to service breakfast and a way to service lunch moving forward in the future. We're also including a lot more al fresco outdoor dining options as well. So that's just a few changes to the dining moving forward. So just to be aware of that, the buffet kind of thing where you used to help yourself, that is no longer going to be the case on our ships. Now, for an extra treat, now this is my favorite dining space on board. I mean, I like my food anyway. But we have a chef's table restaurant on all our ships. The only exception actually is the one on the Douro River. It doesn't have a chef's table on that one. But you can see from the picture here, you've got these beautiful panoramic viewpoints all the way around. It only sits 28 people. Again, on the picture there, you've got on the top right, you can see the kitchen. So you can actually see the chef preparing all the food in front of your very eyes. And here we're going to serve you a 7-course taster menu. With a different wine pairing for each course. It's all included in your fare, so there's no extra to pay for dining in the chef's table restaurant, and everybody on board will have the opportunity to dine in here at least once during your cruise. So if you're celebrating a special occasion, maybe a wedding anniversary or birthday, great place to come and dine. It really, really is. You are, just a word of warning, you are grazing in the restaurant for probably about 3.5 to 4 hours, but it's an amazing evening, really good fun. Dining with this incredible menu with fellow guests is a great way to experience. I actually, last time I was on the ship a couple of years ago, we were sailing the Danube, and it was my daughter's 19th birthday. So we had the kind of birthday celebration in the chef's table. And there's a gentleman actually from the States, his 70th birthday as well. So it was kind of like this joint party in the chef's table restaurant. It was an amazing, amazing evening. And what we do at AmaWaterways, we do include pretty much all your drinks in the fare. So when I'm talking about the wines, we're accompanying your meals and the wine pairing at the chef's table restaurants. You get your welcome cocktail party, you get your sip and sail cocktail party I mentioned in the lounge every single day. But your wine, beer and soft drinks is included with meal times, that's lunch and dinner, all throughout your cruise. And it's free flowing, plenty of it. Bottled waters are included, 24-hour coffee and tea stations as well on the ship. So pretty much all your drinks there are included in your fare. And then it comes to the staterooms. Now at AmaWaterways, we have what we call these twin balcony staterooms. They really are the best of both worlds. So if the weather maybe is a little bit cloudy, maybe it's a bit cool, you don't really fancy sitting outside, but you want to open those doors, you want to let those air and breezes in, and you want to see the scenery, then you can do that on the French balcony side. So you open the doors there, but you're sitting inside the stateroom. On the other side, you have an outdoor balcony. So if the weather's really nice and sunny and you fancy a G&T outside and you're soaking up the scenery, then you can do that on the other side of the balcony. So it's a real ingenious layout. And These are around about 210 to 235 square feet in size, so they're really sizable. They also come with in-house movie channels, complimentary Wi-Fi, there's a fridge, a writing desk, lots of storage space for luggage and clothing, and beautiful, beautiful marble bathrooms as well. We also have different grades of accommodation, so we also have suites. We have French balcony-only staterooms and window view staterooms as well on board. But the majority of our staterooms look like the picture I showed you. And the other thing we include, river cruising is all about getting out and about and exploring, experiencing the destinations that you're going to be visiting. So what we do at AmaWaterways, we give you a really wide choice of excursions, and they're all included in your fare. So no matter what you decide you want to do, you don't have to pay for these excursions. There's up to 4 complimentary shore excursions in every single port that we visit. So if you want to be active, you can do a hike, you can do a bike tour, you can do an active walking tour maybe. If you want to do something with more of a culinary theme, we do truffle hunts in France, for instance. We do olive farm visits on the Colours of Provence itinerary as well. We do wine tastings. There's lots of vineyards around the rivers of Europe. You're going to see them as you're cruising by, and it'd be very rude not to pay one a visit and taste some of their wine. So that's another option as well. But if you're into history, we do the tours of castles, stately homes, the city tours, all of that. You don't need to worry. You get a choice of 4 different trips a day. You tick the box what you're wanting to do. You sign up on board the ship, and they're not capacity controlled. So whatever the numbers are, you'll get on that excursion. And we split you in small groups as well. There'll be maybe one guide to say 12 guests. So it makes it much more personable too. And you never know your luck. If you're only 2 people signing up for one excursion, it will still go ahead just for the 2 of you. So you never know. You could have your own private excursion on our cruises. And if you're doing one of the walking tours as well, we have different pace levels which you can choose to go on. So there's an active one. So if you're like me and you've got a bit like Miles as well, I'm sure, long legs, and you walk quite quick and you want to take things in very, very fast, then we do the active walking tours, but we also do gentle ones and regular ones as well. So there's something really for everybody on our ships. And if you want to stay trim it a bit more and you want to do more wellness, then we also do yoga and Pilates classes too on board our ships. These are all complimentary. We have wellness hosts on board every single cruise we offer. Funnily enough, the most popular class is champagne yoga. I'm not going to demonstrate it to you, but you have to bend down in a particular way and suck up the champagne with a straw. But maybe Miles will do that later on, who knows. But it's good fun. But believe me, we do get big sign-ups on the champagne yoga. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea about life on board our ships and what you can experience. Now it's all about the destination. You know, ocean cruises, they are fabulous. Don't get me wrong. I love ocean cruises as much as anybody else. But oceans take you to countries. Rivers really take you through them. So a river cruise is really a different way to experience Europe, experience different places in the world. You know, you're visiting cities. You're going to berth right in the heart of those cities. You're going to visit local towns, local villages as you'll pass by. You're going to take part in local festivals and experience local cultures. But also you're going to experience this incredible dramatic scenery through these beautiful rivers all the time. So it's a very, very scenic way of cruising as well. So what I'm going to do, I'll just give an idea where we sail, pretty much all through Europe. We do the Portugal region. I'll cover that a little bit later on. We do the French rivers. We do the Rhine and the Moselle in the Central Europe. We do the Dutch area, Holland and Belgium. But the 2 big rivers we offer, and if you've not done a river cruise before, we really do recommend maybe the Rhine or the Danube to start you off. The Rhine was actually the first one that I ever did. We have an itinerary called the Captivating Rhine. Just going to show you some pictures of what you can experience and the sort of days you're going to experience on this particular cruise. But it starts in Amsterdam. You know, it's very easy to get to Amsterdam. You can actually get there by train. You don't have to fly. If you want to fly, obviously, you've got Bristol Airport, you've got Birmingham Airport, very handy there, as well as Cardiff, actually. So lots of places you can fly into Amsterdam from. Now, you get 2 days in Amsterdam. So you arrive on day 1. It doesn't matter what time your flight is. You'll transfer you to the ship. And you can leave your luggage on the ship and go off and explore before your stateroom's ready. You can come back on the ship for lunch, go off again. That's absolutely fine. Have a bit of free time in Amsterdam on day one. If you want to visit things like the Anne Frank's Museum, we recommend you booking the tickets in advance for that particular day, for that particular museum. You come back to the ship in maybe mid-afternoon and you can go into your stateroom, enjoy the ship then. We have the captain's welcome party at 6 o'clock in the evening. And then the next day, what we do, we include the excursions. So you've got the walking tours. We do a canal cruise as well of Amsterdam. Obviously, Amsterdam's very famous for its canals. So you'll get a canal cruise whilst you're in Amsterdam. There's a bit of free time as well before we move on to our next destination. Now, between Amsterdam and Cologne, it's a long distance, so we do actually stay overnight during that part of the cruise. And you'll wake up the next morning in Cologne in Germany. Now, Cologne's very famous for its Gothic cathedral, which you can see in the picture here. We do obviously the tours of the cathedral. You've got a beautiful square next to the cathedral as well. So we'll do the walking tours. We'll do the bicycle tours of Cologne, where you actually cycle from the ship along the riverbank and you come back to the cathedral square. So you still don't miss the cathedral visit on that particular excursion. But if you prefer and you want to do something a little bit more taste driven, I should say, they brew their beer in Cologne, the Kirsch beer. So we do a Kirsch beer tasting, and there's also these snacks, these pancakes, apple pancakes, which they do. So we'll give you a chance to sample some of those as well. So if you prefer a cuisine-based excursion, you can do that in Cologne. We do the bike tours, and we also do the walking tours there as well. Now, the next bit of the Rhine is really the scenic aspect to it. It's what we call the Rhine Gorge. Now, along the Rhine Gorge, you have around 30 different castles. Now, there's a commentary on the ship. We're sailing down the Rhine. It's 7 hours long, this particular journey. So late morning through to early evening, you'll be actually sailing down the Rhine, seeing these amazing castles, seeing these small towns and villages as you'll pass by, places like Boppard, Königswinter. And the last place we visit is actually a place called Rudesheim. And we'll stay there overnight. You'll get the chance to do a gondola ride up to the top and you get these amazing panoramic viewpoints around the Rhine River. But if you prefer, we do the bike tours. And if you're feeling incredibly adventurous, we do the bike tour with the vineyard visit. So you can do the bike and the wine tasting on the same excursion. So there's lots of choices there when we're in Rudesheim. We then move on. The next port is a place called, we don't actually pop into, the Heidelberg is not actually on the Rhine River. So we pop into a place called Ludwigshafen, which is a bit of an industrial port, so about 20 minutes from Heidelberg. But this is where we'll take you on excursions. Heidelberg is a gorgeous town. It's a university town in Germany. But the main attraction is definitely the castle, which you can see here. The castle is huge. And we do obviously a morning tour to the castle. And then we bring you down in the afternoon to the actual main town, which is full of cobbled streets, lots of shops, great place to visit and get lost. And on the other side of the river, we have something called the Philosopher's Path. So if you want to do a hike that day, there is an option there as well. So you can do the visit to the castle maybe in the morning, do the hike in the afternoon, and you get these incredible views of Heidelberg from the other side of the river. So it's a really, really nice day, the day in Heidelberg. Definitely one of my favorite places on that particular cruise. And next up is probably the biggest surprise in Europe. I always say this with Strasbourg, because the first thing I think about Strasbourg is kind of EU buildings, you know, the EU Parliament buildings. And Strasbourg has got so much more to offer than that. It's got an incredibly beautiful old town. Now, it's this district here, you see the buildings, it's called Petit France. And it's just a maze of canals through these beautiful, colourful buildings, Alsatian buildings. Lots of little cafes and souvenir shops around here. You've also got the huge cathedral and Cathedral Square in Strasbourg, which is incredible. They do a lot of Christmas markets in Strasbourg, and you've got these very small, winding, cobbled streets, very narrow, but very, very beautiful. You can enjoy a full day in Strasbourg. I mean, it is such a gorgeous place to do. You can do it by foot if you want to. We do the walking tours, or if you're wanting to do it by bike, we do the bicycle tours in Strasbourg as well. So lots of options there as well. Now, with Strasbourg, we do two versions. So if you want maybe a bit of a lie-in in the morning and you don't want to go off the ship in the morning, but just want to pop into Strasbourg in the afternoon, We do what we call a late riser tour as well. So it will start around about 11:30 in the morning and we'll take you into Strasbourg then. But if you wanted to go on the 4-day excursion, that will start around about 9 o'clock in the morning. Next up, we go into a place called Breisach. And now with Breisach, we've got, again, lots of different choices of excursions. We've got the Black Forest in Germany. You can go there. We do Breisach itself, a town. But this isn't what I would do. Now, all the places I've been on a river cruise, you know, the Danube, the Rhine, France. This place is the most amazing town, village I've ever been to. It is absolutely breathtaking. It's called Riquewihr in France. Now, if you can imagine a kind of a fairy tale, you know, a Cinderella, your Beauty and the Beast. Disney got the inspiration behind the Beauty and the Beast film. They got the inspiration in Riquewihr, and a lot of the filming of that film was actually done in Riquewihr. And it has got that kind of fairy tale feel. You feel like the local baker shop, the baker's going to come out and offer you a loaf of bread to taste. You know, it's that sort of place. Beautiful cobbled streets, incredibly beautiful buildings. I just can't say any more about Riquewihr. It is absolutely incredible. A really gorgeous place. If you go at Christmas, they also do an amazing Christmas market in Riquewihr as well. But if you're going to go in to do on excursions, yes, you have got the choice of the Black Forest. You have got the choice of Breisach itself. But Riquewihr is definitely the one that I would go to. And then the Rhine finishes in Basel in Switzerland. So we actually, again, overnight in Basel. So we overnight in the kind of modern area of Basel, but it's only about 20 minutes walk to the old town. So if you want to pop into the old town, you can do so. And again, a great city. I mean, Switzerland is gorgeous, and you're going along the banks of the Rhine there. And this is a great place to finish your Rhine cruise. Now, there are always options to stay on. So what we do also have a post-cruise extension to Lake Lucerne and Zurich. So if you want to have a few extra days on your holiday, then join us on the post excursion, and we'll take you to Lake Lucerne and Zurich for 4 nights at the end of your cruise. So hopefully that's whetted your appetite as we move on to the Danube River. Now again, the Danube, it's got something for everybody. You know, I think the Rhine has as well. You've got those big towns like Strasbourg. You've got the cities like Amsterdam, for instance, on the Rhine. You've got those beautiful scenic aspects. The Danube has got exactly the same, and I'll show you some pictures here of what you can experience on the Danube. But like with the Rhine, you've got some pre and post cruise extensions you can do. So potentially, if you want to stay, arrive early and have a few nights with us before your cruise, we can take you to Prague. So you'll fly to Prague, you'll join our cruise manager in Prague. We'll spend 3 nights in Prague. You'll get a city tour included. We stay in a 5-star hotel in central Prague, lots of free time as well. And then before we join the ship, we actually take you to the town of Regensburg, which is a UNESCO heritage town, beautiful town, quite close to the town of Vilshofen, which is where we actually dock. Now, the start of the cruise in Vilshofen, we like to spoil you at AmaWaterways and do something a little bit different. And when in Germany, you've got to do what Germans do, and that's drink lots of beer. So we actually have our own private Oktoberfest. So on arrival, when you get to the ship in Vilshofen, there's a big marquee tent set up. And in the evening, you'll be invited to our very own Oktoberfest. So all our guests will be there. You'll have the local dignitaries. You've got the beer queen you can see there. The mayor of the town is there. Some of the locals will be there as well. And it's a big Oompa band, and it's a really great way to start your cruise with us. It really is good fun. So we do that in Vilshofen when we join the cruise. Moving on, we then go to the town of Pasau in Germany. It's virtually on the Austrian border. It's about 4 miles off the Austrian border, Pasau. The main attraction here, you can see probably the peninsula. It really is a maze of squares and cobbled streets. It is absolutely beautiful. Right at the top left-hand corner, you've got what they call St. Stephen's Cathedral. Now, its house is one of the largest pipe organs in the world in that cathedral there. It's an immense cathedral. It's huge. It's fantastic to visit. We do the walking tours at Pasau. So again, the active ones, the gentle ones, the regular ones, depending on how quick you want to go around the town. We also do the bike tours as well. You can do it by bike as well. And if you want to do a hike on the opposite side of the river, we'll do the kind of walking tour of Pasau. Then we'll cross that bridge and we'll go across to the castle on the other side for you as well. And again, you get these great views of Pasau, giving you a new dimension to the town. Again, you can probably see where the ships dock. So again, river ships dock, again, right in the heart of those towns we visit. So you've never got very far to go from the ship to the town centre. So a very, very quick and easy way to explore. Next up on the Danube, we head into the city of Lintz in Austria. Now, Lintz is the 3rd largest city in Austria. We do a walking tour and a cycle tour in the morning, just to give you a bit of an orientation tour of Lintz. But definitely the main reason we're in Lintz is for a choice of 2 excursions. Now, this is where you really have a bit of making your mind up to do, because they're both incredible excursions, they really are. The first one is to Chesky Krumlov in the Czech Republic. Now, it's a bit like a mini Prague. So if you want to maybe cross off another country on your list of visiting, then this is a good one to go to. It's a UNESCO town again, much a heritage city, lots of history, but it's absolutely gorgeous, scenic area you're around. It's kind of hills around, it's a fortified town as well. Great value shopping as well. So if you want to get your souvenirs in there, Chesky Krumlov, really, really cheap place to go souvenir hunting. It is absolutely gorgeous. So we do a visit to Chesky. Or if you prefer, maybe you're into Mozart and you like the sound of music, we'll take you to sound of music country. We're going to take you to Salzburg. A bit like Strasbourg, you've got 2 versions. You've got a 4-day version and you've got a late riser version as well. So if you want to maybe a bit of a lie-in, you can go to Salzburg a bit later in the day because it's not quite as far from Lintz as maybe Chesky Krumlov is. But yeah, it's all about the sound of music. It's all about Mozart. It's all about museums. It's all about great shops. But it is a stunning city to visit as well. And just get lost in. You get a bit of free time as well before we return you to the ship. So that's another choice on that particular day whilst we're in Lintz. Next up, now this is kind of the scenic aspect to the Danube. It is absolutely breathtaking. I hope this, I mean, pictures never do it as much justice as actually being there, but the Vaccal Valley, again, is a UNESCO, it's a protected area of Austria. It is absolutely stunning. Again, we're going to be cruising through the Vaccal Valley pretty much all afternoon. So you're going to see this incredible scenery right through the afternoon while you're sailing on board the ship. And during the afternoon, we're going to take you to 2 or 3 villages en route. So we might take you into Weissenkirchen. We'll take you into a place called Dernstein. Now, Dernstein is famous for its beautiful blue-spired church. It's got a fortress at the top there where Richard the Lionheart was kept captive back in the day. There's actually a hike option. You can take a hike to that fortress on the hillside there as well. If you want to do a walking tour, we do the walking tours at Dernstein. And there's also a trip to Melk Abbey. Now, Melk is a beautiful village in its own right, but Melk Abbey is a Benedictine abbey. Is gorgeous. It really, really is. To look inside the abbey, we include the entrance fee, obviously, for you. One of the biggest draws to Melk Abbey is definitely the library. I mean, you've got gold pretty much everywhere within the abbey, but the library is absolutely sensational. It's still a working library. There's people still using the library for research, believe it or not. You'll get sometimes students coming in, popping in to have a look at the library too. But Melk Abbey is definitely one of the wonderful trips that you can do along that Vaccal Valley when you're sailing through the Danube region of Austria. If you're wanting to be a bit more active, you can actually go from a cycle ride from Melk Abbey to Dernstein while the ship's sailing. So while the ship's sailing, you can either stay on the ship and have a nice cocktail, or you can go on a cycle ride. It's entirely up to you. So there's lots of choices along that part of the Danube River. And then the last part of the trip is all about the cities. So, you know, the great thing with the rivers of Europe, you know, they are set alongside some of these amazing cities. So number one is Vienna. We spend the all day and all evening in Vienna. So during the day, we'll take you into the city itself. We'll do the walking tours. We'll do a coach orientation tour as well. So you'll get to see the buildings. Then in the afternoon, you can go back into Vienna and have your own free time. Or you can go on a visit to what we call Schönbrunn Palace, which is up in the north of the city. Gorgeous gardens. So if you like your horticulture and your gardens, Schönbrunn Palace is the place to go. Then in the evening, we do a classical concert. So there's a Mozart concert, which you can go on to whilst you're in Vienna as well. So that's something on offer there. Then we head into Bratislava in Slovakia. Not really that well known to tourism. You know, it's only just opened up to tourism. But again, it's a gorgeous place to visit. The ship docks right in the heart of the city. Again, you've got these beautiful castle walls around the city. We do the walking tours, we do the cycle tours, and again, we do the hiking program. You can probably make out right at the top on the skyline, you've got the fortress there, so you can actually go on a hike up to the fortress and back into the ship as well if you want to. And there's also, if you like, again, your beer and your food tastings, we do the Taste of Slovakia tour as well. So Slovakian beer is great, and we do these tastings too. So that's another option whilst you're in Bratislava. And then the last destination is the city of Budapest. And again, the ship's right in the heart of the city, literally 5 minutes from the Parliament building you see there. We again do those walking tours, the cycle tours of Budapest as well. You'll get to see both sides of the river, you know, Pest and Buda. You'll see the Parliament buildings, you'll see the Fisherman's Wharf, all sorts of things to see there. It really is a gorgeous city to visit. And again, plenty of free time whilst you're in Budapest too. Again, we overnight in Budapest, so effectively you get 2 days in Budapest to experience that destination. So there we go, that is a Danube in a nutshell. And as I mentioned before, you know, I've kind of highlighted it as I've gone through. The great thing about river cruising to the Danube or the Rhine River, in fact, a lot of the rivers in Europe, the season is really long. You know, you can sail from March all the way through to New Year's. So if you're wanting to go in the spring or the autumn, you can. If you want to go in the winter and do the Christmas markets, you can. If you want to have a Christmas holiday and a New Year holiday into these parts of Europe, you can as well as those summer months as well. So pretty much at any time of the year, between March and December, there's always going to be a river cruise option for you on those particular rivers. So that's those two highlighted. Just in a nutshell, I'm just going to quickly tell you about the other destinations in Europe you can go to, starting with France. You've got different options there. You've got the Seine River, very handy because it's going from Paris. So again, you can get the train there, or you can fly locally from Bristol, Cardiff or Birmingham. Some of the highlights here are definitely Monet's Gardens in Giverny. You've got the city of Roanne, which is a cathedral city, beautiful to see. The Normandy beaches will take you to those landing sites, and also the gorgeous town of Honfleur, which is a seaside town on the English Channel coast there. Not to forget, obviously, Paris itself, because the ship's docked right in the heart of Paris, fairly close to the Eiffel Tower. So a great way to experience the city of Paris as well. Colours of Provence, this is on the Rhone down in the south. This area is great for Roman history. We'll take you to cities of Arles, we'll take you to Avignon, to Tournon. We've also got all those wonderful Provence countryside, you know, these lavender fields you're going to pass by, and also those wine regions as well, Beaujolais, Burgundy country. So gorgeous place to visit too. And last but not least for France is Taste of Bordeaux. Now, as the name suggests, this is all about wine tasting. It's an amazing place to go. You will get wine tasting every single day, at least twice. You'll visit the Cité de Vin, which is a huge wine museum in Bordeaux itself, and you'll get to spend 3 days in Bordeaux as well. Bordeaux is a great city to visit. Again, you're docked right in the heart. I think it's actually twinned with Bristol as well, so there's a little bit of local camaraderie between Bristolians and people who live in Bordeaux. So a great place to go. But it's not all about wine. You've also got little tranquil villages like Saint-Emilion. You've also got castles to visit as well as chateaux. So a great place on a cruise. Now, the Douro in Portugal, this is another river. It's really come into its own in the last couple of years. So much so that we used to just have one ship doing the Douro. We now have 2 ships doing the Douro River. The main cruise is from Porto back to Porto. Porto, again, a fabulous city to visit. But if you like your scenery, the Douro River is one of the most scenic, definitely in Europe. You know, the cliffs, the hilltops are really high. So the valleys are really steep. Again, you're going to get some great scenic aspects on that particular cruise. Lots of wine tasting, lots of port tasting. We'll take you to local quintas, local farmsteads as well, so you can experience local organic foods. And also we'll take you to the city of Salamanca in Spain, which again is a UNESCO city, but well worth going to visit. Great place to go. And then last but not least, we have Holland and Belgium. Now this again, it's getting a lot more popular because again, it's proximity to us here in the UK. You know, you can easily fly from Bristol again to Amsterdam. You can take the train there. It's very easy to visit. Lots of great cities. You've got Brussels, you've got Antwerp, you've got Ghent, We also take you to Bruges as well whilst you're in on this particular cruise. It's called the Best of Holland and Belgium. You can do it during the tulip time in the spring, or you can do it during the summer months as well. So we're actually there from around March through to the end of October. Now, one thing to note, if you are into your gardens, there is a huge horticultural show in Amsterdam, just close to Amsterdam, called the Floriade. It's happening next year between April and October. A huge horticultural show. It's kind of the Ideal Homes version of gardens. It is absolutely colossal. It only takes place once every 10 years, and 2022 is the year. So we are going to be including an excursion to the Floriade on all our Best of Holland and Belgium excursions, and also all of our Rhine trips. When you're in Amsterdam, you will have the option of visiting the Floriade whilst you're in Amsterdam. So if you like your gardens, you love your horticulture, then this is definitely a show worth considering going to see between April and October 2022. Just to finish off with, any cruise you decide to do in Europe with us, there's always a cruise and stay option. So if you want to stay longer, then you can do so. You know, I mentioned Amsterdam for the Rhine, Zurich and Lake Lucerne for the Rhine, Prague for the Danube. But whichever cruise you decide to do in Europe, there's Lisbon for the Douro, for instance. You could stay there for a few days pre-cruise. There's always an option there to extend your stay. So do ask the team down at Miles Morgan Travel about those various options available to you. Now, if you can't decide which river to go on, because there's quite a few there to choose from, and you think, do you know what? I'm just going to do every single one of them on one holiday. Then we have got something for you in 2023. It's called the 7 River Journey through Europe. You will be going to see 7 of our rivers on 4 different ships. All the transfers between the ships are included, and it's for 46 nights. So that's quite a long stay, but you never know. If you want to do it all in one go, we've got 2 departures actually for 2023. One's going in June and one's going in April. So again, just let the team at Miles Morgan know if you're interested in that, because we do longer stay cruises as well. The ones I've mentioned today, a lot of them are 7 nights, but we do 7, 10 nights, 14-night duration cruises as well. We can pretty much tailor make your own cruise. So if you're wanting to maybe do 3 of the French rivers in one trip, then you can do a 21-night holiday. You know, it's very easy to organize. But this 7 river journey is something a little bit different. It's never been done before on a river. You know, the ocean ships do their world cruises. So we thought we'd do something similar with the rivers. So that's what we're doing in 2023. Okay, and last but not least, before we kind of close off, this is my secret, which I didn't keep secret though, well, did I? Because I mentioned Egypt at the beginning. So this is our new ship and our new product. We're really, really excited about going back to Egypt. It's going to be an incredible journey, it really is. It's called Secrets of Egypt and the Nile. Now, it's going to start in September of this year. We're on sale now all the way through to the end of 2023. So plenty of time to choose. If you're interested in Egypt, then please do let the guys know at Miles Morgan. So what we're going to do, we're going to fly you from the UK to Cairo. You get 3 nights at the incredible 4 Seasons Hotel in Cairo. We'll include, whilst you're in Cairo, we include visits to the King Tut Museum. We'll include the visits to the Sphinx, the pyramids. You also get to see the old town, the markets. So all of that's included. You're not going to miss out on any of that stuff. Then we'll fly you down to Luxor, and you'll join the ship, the Amadalia, for 7 nights. Now on the cruise, you're going to visit lots of temples, lots of tombs, lots of history, obviously archaeological sites. Lots of private tours as well, so we're only accessible to our AmaWaterways guests. And then you'll fly back to Cairo and you'll get 1 more night at the 4 Seasons Hotel, including lunch on the last day at the Presidential Palace in Cairo. So an incredible trip. The ship itself is only going to take 68 guests. It's going to look something like this. It's called the Amadalia. Lots of different types of staterooms to choose from suites to window staterooms to balconies. A beautiful sun deck. I mean, this is a sun deck on board. Lovely pool area, gorgeous sun lounges. And we're going to keep it in this kind of traditional Nubian style, the Nubian villages, which you'll actually visit on the cruise, the Nubian village. A lot of culture and a lot of history to the Nubian culture down in that part of Egypt. So we kept the style to reflect that kind of very colourful Nubian ambience. So you're going to experience that on board the ship as well. So it's very much done in a very authentic style. So that's something a little bit different. We have produced a brochure. It's called The Secrets of Egypt and the Nile. Now, the team at Miles Morgan Travel have got their own version of this brochure. So if you're wanting to have a look at the cruise in more detail, then do let the guys know in your local branch. It's kind of an electronic brochure, but they'll be able to send it on to you so you can have a proper look at all the wonderful things that we're going to be doing in Egypt. Okay. So just to summarize all of that, you know, what do we include in the fare? All your dining on board, including that chef's table, the wine, beer, soft drinks during your meal times, tea, coffee, bottled waters 24/7, that sip and sail cocktail hour, your complimentary Wi-Fi, in-house TV channels, that wellness program, all those short excursions, it's all included in your fare there. Very little to worry about. The great thing about river cruising, you know, you don't have to spend money on board the ship. It's all looked after before you go. We do have lots of different promotions out there in the marketplace at the moment. So if you are interested for this year, you know, this year at the moment, we've suspended our sailings through to the end of May. You know, June, July, we're not sure it's going to happen. To be safe, maybe September onwards, we're potentially looking at cruising again, I think, for 2021. But obviously 2022 is fully on sale, and actually 2023 is as well available to you. So we're doing complimentary flights and transfers available on those cruises. We can do Bristol as well. Do let us know about Bristol if you're wanting to fly from Bristol. As long as the route permits, we'll be able to offer you Bristol Airport. There's rail options too, and there's some additional savings on selected dates as well. If you do travel on your own as your solo traveller, then river cruising is really great because there's low supplements. You know, on the French ships, there's 0% supplement on some of our French balcony staterooms, for instance. And on the other ships, it's 10%, from 10% through to 25% on selected stateroom grades. So do have a look at that if you're traveling on your own, because it's actually not as expensive as you may think with these supplements to pay. And just a couple of thank yous, really, just for being here today, spending your morning with me. I really do appreciate it. We have got a couple of things which are exclusive to Miles Morgan. There is this one cruise we've picked out on the 24th of October. It's almost like two for the price of one, to be fair. It's on the Danube, that itinerary I took you down, the romantic Danube, on the ship called the AmaWaterways. It's a French balcony stateroom, but you've got a special price there available just because you're customers of Miles Morgan Travel. And if you do decide you're wanting to go on any of our cruises, you know, not necessarily the Danube, it could be the Rhine, it could be the Douro, it could be the Dutch-Belgian Boldfields, we have got an additional £150 per couple saving for you, just to say thank you for being here this morning with us. And that's on top of all the other promotions and offers that we're doing. So do ask your Miles Morgan Travel Shop for more information on those. And I think now that's about it from me. We'll welcome back Mr. Morgan, I think, for some questions potentially.
Oh, definitely, John. I've got to say, you took us there would be my my take from that presentation. I really did feel I was in some of those wonderful, wonderful villages and towns that you took us through on the rivers. It was fantastic, John. Really, really great.
I was there myself, that's the only thing.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to meet your owners, Rudy and Kirsten, and you're right. I mean, for everybody watching this, the passion that you saw in the way John talked about, you know, Ama and about river cruising is exactly what you get with the owners of the business he represents, and that's probably why they are what they are. I think you can see it from the owners. They firmly believe in what they do very passionately, and it comes across without a doubt. It comes across. I'm going to give you, and I'm going to restrict this, okay? You can only give me 3 points on this one, because I know you can talk. So lots of people do river cruising, John. Lots of people do river cruising. Give me just 3 reasons why people should choose Ama. Don't go off the rails. Just give us 3 reasons why people should choose Ama above other companies that offer river cruising.
Okay, I love being put on the spot. Why should they choose Ama? Oh, there's lots of different reasons. I think number one, you said it just then. It's the owners of our business, our company. It's that family-owned run feel. Everybody on board is really a guest. You know, we treat you as a guest, not a number, not a passenger. you're a guest of ours on board the ship, and we're treating you that way. So the way the crew interact with you, you know, it's a real happy place to be. It's a real, we have this thing called the AMA, it sounds very corny, we have this thing called the AMA family, and you're part of the AMA family when you're on board the ship, and you'll get to feel that as one of our guests on board. So I think that's definitely one thing that makes us stand out without a shadow of a doubt. Number two, I think it's the sustainability side of things, because the local farms, local producers, we've got these amazing relationships with local villages, local towns. So you're going to experience on our cruises a few additional excursions, wine tastings to local producers that you're not going to get with everybody else, because of the relationships we've managed to get with those local towns and villages over the years that we're visiting. So for instance, that beer festival in Wilshofen, nobody else goes to Wilshofen, nobody else has that wonderful beer festival, but because of the relationship we have with that town, we're able to put that on for our guests. So that's definitely, I think, number two. And number three, I think it's just, I said the Berlitz guide rating, you know, having those highest rated ships in Europe, the top three rated ships, Ama Christina number one, Ama Viona number two, Ama Stella number three, you know, that gives you massive confidence in what we do. And because we're a family-owned business, we design our ships ourselves. You know, they're built with shallow drafts, so we can cruise against, you know, low water conditions a lot of the time, where again, a lot of our competitors can't. So, yeah, I hope that's a few reasons there for you. I'm trying to think of some more, but
yeah. No, I only gave you three. No, you've done very well. Very good. Thank you very much. There'll be people undoubtedly on this Zoom that maybe haven't taken a river cruise before. What would be the top tip you would give them when thinking about taking a river cruise?
Definitely get involved in the local destination you're visiting, you know, because you'll go to the soul and the heart of the countries you're visiting. So take those excursions, immerse yourself in the locals as well. You know, I mean, I said before, I mentioned, you know, we do the small groups, you know, there's the walking tours, the regular ones, the gentle ones, the active ones. It's a very personal approach, but get involved, get stuck into the destination. You know, when you're going to the vineyards, ask the questions about how they're producing the wines. Treat it as a real destination experience and immerse yourself in that. I think that's probably what I would do to get the most out of your cruise, definitely, and you'll get some amazing memories.
Very good, thank you. There's a question in the chat. Mobility access, John, on your ships. What are the options on that? Okay,
so we have got one of our ships, the Ama Magna. Number one, I mean, say there's lift access on all our ships, but the lift access only will go, it won't go to the sun deck, for instance. There's always going to be stairs to climb up to the sun deck. Apart from one of our ships called the Ama Magna. Now, the Ama Magna's got lift access to all decks. It does the Danube River. So if you're interested in the Danube, it's a good ship to go on. As far as accessibility, you know, there's a lot of thing about walking on and off the ships. The Ama Magna as well, it's always got pierside docking guaranteed because it's double width. So it counts as two ships. So you're going to be able to get off the ship very easily as well. So that would be my recommendation for accessibility is the Ama Magna is one of the better products to go on. But really with river cruising, because we've got those gentle walking tours, you know, as long as you can walk a little bit, you'll get the most of it. You know, we've had people with you know, walking aids, for instance, on those tours. It's not a problem at all. Wheelchair access off the ships, because you've got cobbled streets, that's the only thing you've got to bear in mind. A lot of these destinations got cobbled streets. It can be sometimes difficult if you wheelchair all the time. So maybe a river cruise isn't the best if you're kind of needing wheelchair access all the time. But as long as you can get off occasionally and walk around a little bit, then you'll absolutely be fine on a river cruise. Yeah,
I think that's a really good point, that last one about the cobbled streets. Having done some of those places, they can be a bit of up and downy and bumpy without a shadow of a doubt. So that's good advice. Some real nuts and bolts questions. I love these nuts and bolts questions. Tables of two for dining? Yes or no?
Yeah. Do you know there's a cheeky way you can do it? This is one of my John's tips here. So I mean, again, going back to the Ama Magna. The Ama Magna is a little bit of a larger ship. It takes 190 guests. It's got 4 restaurants. Now, on that ship, we do have tables for 2. On the other ships, we don't. There's tables of 4 is the minimum size. But how to be cheeky is what you do is go to dine right at the beginning. So be at the dining room at 7 o'clock on the dot. go to the maitre d' and say, look, we'd rather dine on our own this evening, and he'll clear the other 2 placings for you. So you will on your own. So that is definitely my little tip to do if you're wanting to dine on your own. Yeah, I mean, it's a common question, and it's easy to do.
So remember, everybody, his name is John Knight. So when you see
absolutely,
John sent us is all you need to say.
Absolutely. The only restaurant I would say is the chef's table. You can't do it on the chef's table because we have 20 seats, and it's 28 people dining that evening in the chef's table restaurant. But from that, you'll be fine to be able to do that. No problem.
Tea and coffee making in the cabins? What about that one?
We don't actually have that, no. But the lounge is where you have the tea and coffee station. So it's very, very close by. You know, within 30, 40 seconds, you can access the lounge and take your tea and coffee back to your room if you want to.
Okay. And your entry-level staterooms, do they have large windows, or do you still have porthole windows in those? No,
they're large windows. They're good size as well, actually. I mean, a lot of people say about the staterooms, the entry-level staterooms on river ships. The only thing I would say to you is that they're quite close to the waterline. They're fairly low down. You know, you haven't got water views or anything like that. You've got the window, but they're a little bit higher up. But they're large windows, definitely. But they are at the lowest deck, so just bear that in mind. On Magna, again, I'm saying about the AmaMagna, we have got the largest window staterooms. They're actually 205 square foot. They're huge. And they've got 2 different picture windows in those staterooms on the AmaMagna.
Okay, marvellous. One from me. And again, don't waffle on this one. I'm going to make it's going to be a short, snappy answer. Your favourite river and why?
Oh, do you know, I love questions like that. I think myself, just because of the sort of thing that I like to do. I love city breaks and I love touring and I love scenery. You know, I love everything. So for me, the Danube is the one. There you go. I've said it. I can't go back. They've all got their unique aspects to them, but for me personally, the Danube was just something else. And obviously, it's a bit further south as well. The weather is sublime. You know, pretty much if you go in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, you're going to get good weather down on the Danube.
I think you've got a bit of insight into whether you might say that one when you were doing the presentation, actually.
Yeah, there's a bit of a clue.
You had with that one.
It is a gorgeous river, really is.
Just going back to those staterooms, the entry-level staterooms, even though they're near the waterline, you've still got a view from them. They're still above.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You still got a view. You still got a view.
Yeah.
It's just that they're towards the bottom of the ship. Just bear that in mind.
Yeah. Okay. One plug, actually, I can give a plug now for Miles Morgan Travel, actually, because people might or might not know that last Friday we won the award as the best river cruise travel agent in the UK, as John knows, at the annual Travel Trade Gazette Awards last Friday. So we were, you know, as a regional business, which we are, we were absolutely chuffed to win a national award. So you can guarantee when you contact one of our shops, they do know about their river cruising. Without a doubt, they absolutely do, and they're passionate about it, which is fantastic.
Yeah, massive congratulations. Brilliant.
Another question come in. How many nights is the offer on the 24th of March and other flights extra?
I think that was the 24th of October, was it? The
one for later this year. That's right, it was.
Yeah, it's 24th October. Flights are not included in that, so we can add them on for you. They're generally about 100, 150 pounds.
Time of year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, unless there are some more questions in the chat, it's my opportunity to say thank you very much to John. John, there was no doubt that, rather like your owners, you undoubtedly share your passion for both river cruise and for AMA. So congratulations on that, I have to say. And thank you everybody much for joining the Zoom. I hope you enjoyed it this morning. If you do have any supplementary questions, want to check availability on that 24th of October departure, just get in contact with your local shop. They can help you out on that. But in the meantime, thank you, everybody, and particularly thank you to John. Thank you very much, John.
No, thank you all. Stay safe, all. Take care. Bye.